Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Today we are talking about everything from Trump's new talk on Russia to a new study on teens in tech to even the ESPY Awards. All that and more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Wednesday, July 18th. You ready? Let's do this. President Trump has changed his tune a bit. He's now saying he misspoke during this week's joint press conference with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and that he has full faith in U.S. intelligence services. Remember, President Trump faced a bunch of criticism for seeming to question U.S. intelligence officials who said Russia definitely interfered in the 2016 presidential election. And at the same time, the president shied away from criticizing Putin. Well, now the Wall Street Journal reports President Trump said he messed up a word during the news conference with Putin. That when he said, quote, "I don't see any reason why it would be Russia," that he really meant to say, wouldn't. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. To be clear, many people agree the meeting itself was the right move. It's just the statements after the private meeting during the news conference that are causing a lot of controversy. Some lawmakers said they're relieved the president clarified his comments, and the Hill report supporters say more of the focus needs to be on other issues discussed, as well as the fact that there are still sanctions in place against Russia. But critics don't buy it and say there were a lot of concerning things the president said that were not addressed. So what now? CNN is reporting Russian officials have announced they're ready to move forward with agreements made during that private meeting between presidents, issues surrounding Syria and international agreements. No word yet from U.S. officials about this just yet, so to be continued. It's being called the European Union's largest trade deal ever, and the deal is with Japan. CNBC reports the deal gets rid of about 99% of the tariffs on Japanese goods sold to the EU and about 94% of tariffs on European exports to Japan. That'll mean lower prices on things like European wines, pork, and handbags for people in Japan, and machinery parts, tea, and fish from Japan will now be cheaper in Europe. And of course, this deal that cuts down on tariffs is happening while the U.S. has increased tariffs on trading partners. Former U.S. President Barack Obama made one of his first major speeches since leaving the White House. He spoke to a crowd of 15,000 people in South Africa to help celebrate Nelson Mandela, who, of course, was South Africa's first black president. Today would have been Mandela's 100th birthday. Time reports Obama talked about several topics, including the need to stand up for democracy. And whether you agree with what he said or not, most people believe Obama was referring to President Trump when he warned against politics of fear. But Obama never actually said President Trump's name. The U.S. Coast Guard is changing the rules in Hawaii and no longer wants any boats to get within 1,000 feet of the Kilauea volcano. Why? Well, a so-called lava bomb hit a sightseeing boat and hurt nearly 24 people this week. CBS News spoke with people on the boat who were burned from flying hot rocks. One rock even went through the boat's metal roof. It happened because of an explosion when the lava from the Kilauea volcano hit the ocean. The volcano has been erupting now for more than 2 months. Travelers in the Northeast have been dealing with delays and even cancellations because of severe storms. The Weather Channel says major airports had flight delays of 2 to 5 hours as of last night. Roads and subway stations were also flooded in NYC and Washington, D.C. yesterday, and there was a funnel cloud spotted over the New York harbor. Some airlines are now waiving change fees for this week. A quick break now for our sponsor. If you are in podcasting or business, then you've probably heard of John Lee Dumas. But really, his new free program is for everyone. It's called 3 Hours to Your Big Idea. And it's just what it sounds like. You need only 3 hours to have your big idea. JLD has interviewed thousands of successful entrepreneurs on his podcast, Entrepreneurs on Fire, including Tony Robbins and Barbara Corcoran, yes, from Shark Tank. And he realized the one thing all of these entrepreneurs had in common was their ability to focus in on their one big idea. And he wants to help you do the same thing. So if you don't have a big idea, or you have too many of them, or you need some direction on the one you have, this program is for you. And you just need 3 hours. You can download the program on the spot by going to yourbigidea.io. Check it out for free. Again, that's yourbigidea.io. You can have your big idea just 3 hours from right now. All right, now back to the news. Jupiter has even more moons than we thought. Vox reports astronomers found 10 more moons, bringing the total to 79. Astronomers say these newly discovered moons in Jupiter's orbit are pretty small, but advancing technology is now letting us find them. And the more we can understand about these moons, the better we'll understand our entire solar system. A new study looked at teens and tech, and the results aren't great. The study found teens who use digital media frequently have an increased risk of ADHD symptoms, which can include having a hard time concentrating. To be clear, the study does not prove that tech causes ADHD, but it does show there could be a link. The study followed 2,500 teens over 2 years, looking at their tech usage and their symptoms. The Wall Street Journal says it was the first study of its kind to follow so many teens for 2 years. Scientists say studies like this are important to better understand how video games, streaming video, and social media might be impacting developing brains. Of course, more research is needed. What do you think about Walmart having its own video streaming service, something to compete with Netflix? It could happen, at least according to the information. The news outlet cited sources that Walmart is at least thinking about it, but no confirmation at this point. The report at least says Walmart would consider a lower price point of $8 a month and maybe even a free ad-supported video service. Netflix now charges at least $10.99 a month. Variety says Walmart already has its hand in entertainment, so this wouldn't be brand new. It does own a movie streaming service called Vudu, which offers movies to rent or buy or even watch for free if you don't mind the ads. TBD if the Walmart version of Netflix actually becomes a reality. Girl Scouts just added 30 new badges about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. The girls can now earn badges for things like learning to code, designing robots, and taking part in a NASA space program. The popular co-working space WeWork just announced a new controversial plan to give up all meat. Bloomberg says the company will no longer serve red meat, chicken, or pork at any of its company events and won't reimburse employees for meals that include meat. WeWork says it's to be environmentally friendly. A co-founder pointed to research that says avoiding meat lowers someone's impact on the environment. Employees and members are still allowed to bring meat in if they pay for it themselves. Bloomberg wonders if this is all about WeWork's brand building by getting behind a certain cause. The ESPY Awards are on tonight, the biggest sports awards ceremony. ESPY stands for Excellence in Sports Performance Yearly. Categories include everything from Best Athlete to Best Olympic Moment and many more. The host this year is Danica Patrick. She's the race car driver who just retired in May. And of course, other celebrities and athletes will be there, and there are even some music performances planned. The ESPYs start at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern, tonight on ABC. Oh, and one more thing. Speaking of sports, the American League won the All-Star game last night. They beat the National League 8-6. And CBS Sports says there was even an All-Star game record of 10 home runs. And that's it for today. You are all caught up. If you got value out of today's episode, please be sure to share it with someone or leave a review wherever you listen. And if you want to read more about any of the stories we talked about today, just head on over to thenewsworthy.com, click episodes, and find today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you every weekday by 4 in the morning Eastern Time, so I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.